On the next Radio Lab, an homage to the flop. That's on the next Radio Lab.
It's going to be a fun hour. Join us today at noon on WBEZ.
I'm Juana Summers. If you've got a car or truck that you don't need anymore, donate it to this station. It could be worth hundreds of dollars, even more, in support. Thanks.
Find out how at WBEZ.org/car.
Little breezy today, especially along the lakefront. Could see some light rain. Otherwise, highs in the low 70s. It's time for Marketplace.
A look at crypto politics.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Bitwarden, committed to making life and work less stressful and more secure with the Bitwarden Password Manager for Business. Learn more at bitwarden.com.
I'm David Brancaccio. The week ahead will give us a much better sense of the health of the economy going into summer. Due in the days ahead are fresh numbers on inflation, consumer confidence, and home sales. Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer has some details.
Brace yourself for a data storm. Tomorrow we get a look at consumer confidence numbers for May. We'll see if it rebounds from April when it fell for the third consecutive month, according to the Conference Board. Also tomorrow we get a look at the S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index, which tracks housing prices in key metro areas. Pending home sales are out on Thursday. We'll hear from the presidents of the Federal Reserve Banks of Cleveland and Minneapolis tomorrow. Minutes of the Fed's May meeting released last week showed some willingness to raise interest rates if inflation picks up. The April Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index comes out on Friday. That's the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. As if all this isn't enough, the Fed releases its latest beige book on Wednesday. It's a pulse check of the economy in each of the Fed's 12 districts with juicy local anecdotes. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
Atlantic hurricane season starts this week and runs through November. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration predicts hurricane activity will be above normal. Climate change is making all kinds of extreme weather more common, and the Biden administration recently announced $6.6 million in funding from the Inflation Reduction Act that'll go toward trying to improve the forecasting of weather. Marketplace's Samantha Fields has that.
Long-range seasonal forecasts aren't all that useful, at least not according to former FEMA Administrator Craig Fugate. But he says once a storm forms, then forecasts really matter.
It's life or death. The better that forecast is and the more time we can give communities, the better the outcome.
Forecasting has come a long way in the last few decades. Fugate says today,
the 5-day forecast is accurate, if not more accurate, than the 3-day forecast was in 1987.
And Renato Molina at the University of Miami says that has saved lives and money.
Having accurate information, we estimate, has saved about 20% of the overall damages to property and crops in the last 20 years for the United States.
But even so,
extreme weather causes hundreds of deaths and hundreds of billions of dollars in damage every year.
Xu Wang at the University of Oklahoma will head up the new consortium that just got federal funding to do research to improve forecasts.
Increasing weather extremes will threaten our sources of food, water, energy, and economic well-being.
And she says more accurate forecasting can help reduce future damage. I'm Samantha Fields for Marketplace.
It's a day to reflect on the sacrifices of people in the armed services. The stock markets and bond markets will reopen tomorrow after Memorial Day. There's still a lot going on in the global economy. Listen later to our evening program, Marketplace. My colleague Amy Scott is in for Kai. She'll have more of today's developments. It's on many public radio stations, of course, or at marketplace.org.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business. From small business to big enterprise and everything in between, Amazon Business helps simplify the supplies buying process. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying. And by The Economist, devoted to providing independent journalism that makes sense of the news shaping the world. More at economist.com or with The Economist app, newsletters, and podcasts.
In this election cycle, campaigns are looking to reduce the friction of getting your campaign donations. The Trump campaign recently announced it will accept campaign donations in cryptocurrency. People who support Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can also use crypto. Marketplace's Kimberly Adams has more.
The Federal Election Commission decided back in 2014 that candidates could legally accept crypto campaign contributions. But there are some things that make crypto a bit different from just giving a campaign cash, says Ishan Mehta, director for the Media and Democracy program at Common Cause.
Cryptocurrency is extremely volatile and unpredictable, so that you can bypass the contribution limit if the value goes really up. It becomes easy to do money laundering if you're using, some of the lesser known cryptocurrencies or some of the fly-by-night cryptocurrencies.
The FEC says as long as the value of the crypto at the time it was donated falls below the contribution limits, it's fine. But Mehta says there are transparency issues as well.
Fundamentally, by architecture and design, cryptocurrency is untraceable, which makes it easier for foreign actors to influence campaigns by making these donations.
Because of these concerns, a few states ban cryptocurrencies in campaign finance altogether. But in the majority of states, it's still kind of a gray area. Heather Baugh teaches at the University of Missouri's Truman School of Government and Public Affairs.
The ability for governments to control it and to be sure that it comes from non-criminal entities, governments haven't figured that out entirely yet.
Baugh says there's really no reason for candidates like Trump or RFK Jr. not to accept contributions this way.
This is probably politically strategic for Trump. There's a contingent of crypto enthusiasts who are attracted to the asset because of its libertarian values.
Meaning, she says, they may be more likely to donate to conservative causes. So for people who want to use their Dogecoin for the Donald, they now can. Of course, within federal contribution limits. In Washington, I'm Kimberly Adams for Marketplace.
And when not pigs, but dogs fly, there's news dogs can fly. News of the launch of Bark Air, charter jet service for dogs and their custodians. Newark to LA was the first flight the other day. A ticket is not chicken feed, $6,000 one-way, domestic, food and water for dogs and other white glove services available. Spa treatments are options, up to 15 dogs and their humans per plane, with some international routes available. No kids, so the flights may be quieter than some regular flights. You off today? Barbecue not till later? Why not consider watching a documentary film with me? I'm watching one movie a month with economic themes, and we're discussing them with you and with experts. All that is in our weekly Econ Extra Credit newsletter. You can sign up free, marketplace.org/newsletters. I'm David Brancaccio, and this is our morning report. APM, American Public Media.